How's everyone doing? We're going to talk about how I do winter and how I set up for winter in the aviary. So it all starts right here, right? So we have a temperature and humidity gauge. I have digital and analog. The analogs are not as accurate, but you can get them pretty cheaply online. And so if you just had one small cage, especially inside, I would just stick to something small like this. Got some of my wax bills in quarantine here, saying hello. See if we can get a better look at them. There we go. My phone cooperating. So it starts with that. Now you'll see outside in the flight, I've got the same setup. And then up there in the corner, I've got another temperature gauge. And so that is the basics. You gotta know the temperature. Some more birds in quarantine. Came at different times, so they're in different quarantines. And that is the basic. You've got to know the temperature in the aviary. And the range you're looking for is typically 78 to 82, a little bit lower than that, a little bit higher than that's okay. Another thing that's very important is consistency. You want that temperature not to do huge fluctuations. So in addition to those temperature fluctuations, drafts, other things where the birds can't get comfortable and regulate their own temperature, that's what will kill your birds, especially if it's already cold. So the first thing I do for the winter is put these plastic panels just during the winter on the outside. And when I say winter, I really mean in the fall, when I see the night outside temps start to drop below 60 pretty consistently, the panels are going on. And then in the reverse, when I see nights staying above, mid 50s, 60s in the spring, they'll come off. So that's the first step, is just to seal it. The other thing I do is my shed has open eaves, which is really nice because in the summer here, you can easily get above 105, 110. So it's nice to be able to have that breeze through. But in the winter, I take a painter's plastic tarp. You can just get it at a hardware store. And I seal off these eaves to prevent wind and cold air from coming in. And it makes a big difference in here. And since we're still in fall, you can see on this side, I haven't done it on this side yet. I normally get my wind from that direction. So for right now, this kind of gives a balance to keep me from getting too hot in here during the day, but it still stays pretty warm at night. Now the next thing I do is this. This is my digital temperature controller. It links to my phone. And so I've got the outside right now set for 77 degrees, and the probe runs into the outside through right there. And so right now it's 76.4 in there. So the way this controller's set up, when it gets down to 76, it will heat it until it gets to 77 again, and then it will cut the heater off. So I don't have to be out here constantly guessing or just having heat on timers and hoping that it does well. And I use these, they're electric heaters. They have two different heat settings, and I have two. There's one outside as well. And they're sitting on these clay pots, one to make sure they stay out of any moisture, and two, it's just a nice little extra safety consideration. And this one is on for the inside is on a simpler one because of how it's set up. It's easier for me to just run that small, simple one in here. And the final thing I do is I do have some heaters and heat lamps that run on a timer. So this is one, that black box that you're looking at right there is it's actually a poultry heater. So it just radiates heat down to these perches. And that goes on a timer. So it goes on right before sunset and it goes on an hour after sunrise. And you see that Gouldian knows there's heat there and he's probably looking for it right now. But it's also 82 in here, so it's not on at the moment. And then for these birds, especially because they're brand new to quarantine, I've got a ceramic heat bulb that is also on that timer, and they basically, if they're cold, they can sit on this perch, and if they're warm, they can go over to this perch, and they have the choice. It's always key. You want them to be able to move in and out of heat up to them. And then I have over here just a big red, and I'll show you what the bulb looks like. It's an infrared heat lamp that's actually, it's made for reptiles. It's a basking heat lamp, but it also functions as kind of a night light. So if birds are really cold, they can come in here or over here in the winter and warm up. And in the actual winter, when it's very cold, I will run that full time so that they always have the choice if they want to come in and warm up. Additionally, my lighting in here, I have 2 regular fluorescent bulbs, and then I have that are the kind of more bluish looking ones, and then the red ones are full spectrum sunlight bulbs. So when you're standing here, it feels like you're standing in the sun, and that gives the birds, they're getting vitamin D, you know, all kinds of things, but it also does put out a good amount of heat. So that about sums it up, showing my weavers. I never show them, I feel like, and you can also see Smokey here. But that about sums it up. That's how I control temperature in the aviary. Thanks for following along, and please don't forget to ring the bell, subscribe, like, share with your friends, do everything that you can to help me grow. I really appreciate it, and I'll have more videos and hopefully some merch coming soon.